Hi guys, welcome back to Lewis on Film. I am Lewis, and last week I said to you I was going to bring you a review for Conjuring 3, which didn't happen because unfortunately something happened and I couldn't attend that particular screening on that particular day. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch it since. I have, however, now seen it. So let's check it out. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So the Conjuring films are interesting because the plots are based on true stories, as we know that the Warrens did exist. The cases we've seen and the Conjuring world did happen, but they did not happen in the way the films say they did. This story is that after an exorcism of an 8-year-old boy, the demon this time is transferred into the body of the sister's boyfriend, and a few days later he kills his landlord. Ed and Lorraine set out to find out how to stop this demon, saying that it was death by possession, like murder by possession. He did do it, but he was possessed, and they set out to prove it. And they need to stop this demon because exorcism isn't good enough, and the mystery that they're in gets darker and darker, and it's the Conjuring films. You know what they're about. But this one I was interested in more than the other two because there's a great line in the film that's in the trailer where Ed Warren says, "The court accepts every time a witness goes on the stand the existence of God. It's about time that they accept the existence of the devil." Terrific line and a terrific thought, and that should be your way into the story. We'll come to that more in a minute. So the good. So as I already mentioned, that particular line of that idea of it being a courtroom thing is great. In particular, the scene where they meet the lawyer, I thought was really good. She comes at this and is like, "Look, I'm really skeptical about this. I don't believe for a second that he was possessed by a demon." And they say to come for dinner with us. We'll show you around our stuff. Show us what we'll show you what the kind of things that we've seen. And if you're not convinced by the end of it, we'll walk away. And then in the very next shot, we see her in the courtroom with him, and she's looking terrified, and she completely believes it, which is a really nice bit of direction and a nice idea, and I like that. But I like the mystery generally. Generally, the mystery is quite interesting. I enjoyed for the hunt for the truth within the film. It's not all the clues are given to you, so you can't kind of join in really. But I did enjoy the mystery that they were going through. It's a tense film. I don't think it's a scary film, but the tension's there, and I was sat tensed watching it. There's a huge reference to The Exorcist in it in the first scene. It's basically the film of The Exorcist, the original. It whittled down to 5 minutes and put into the first scene to kind of get you into the story, and I thought that was fine. I think some people might look at it and go, they've just ripped off The Exorcist, that's not cool. I thought it was a nice homage personally, so I was okay with that. I like the fact that the Conjuring films, they don't hide the fact that there's a ghost. Some of the horror films that I watched growing up was kind of, okay, so we saw something, and then there's a big twist about how, oh no, it wasn't a ghost, it was somebody playing a trick on them, or something like that, or there is a ghost and everyone else, we know there's a ghost and everyone else tries to convince them there isn't a ghost. But the Conjuring films, there is a ghost, and they know there's a ghost, we know there's a ghost, and the ghosts just keep coming at you. I like that. And that's what I like about it, and that's and that isn't lost here. I wanted a good horror film when I went to see this, and I got one. It wasn't quite what I was hoping for, but it was decent enough. The bad. So it assumes a bit too much that you see in the other two. It is a sequel, but it isn't. It's a new story, and I think there's a way into this which would have been a bit smoother, but it does assume that you've seen the other two. The plot doesn't make a lot of sense when it gets to its more complicated and complex strands. There's good linked plot points which work well enough to keep a general audience interested, and at a glance, shall we say, it works, but when you look a bit closer, it sort of doesn't, which is a shame. But the real negative here is, like I said, I wanted what the trailer kind of hinted, that maybe we'd get a courtroom horror film here. Like, you know, it would be a courtroom drama at the heart of it, with horror film elements sort of surrounding it. And that would have been interesting, but it doesn't ever try to give us that or use that courtroom aspect at all. And instead, it's the same kind of thing that we would come to expect from the other Conjuring films as well. But yeah, a courtroom horror film sounds great, and I'd love to see that one day, but it's not here, and that's an opportunity missed. So overall, I enjoyed it. It's a good horror film. I've seen far worse horror films, and you know, it's not exceptional by any means, but it is interesting. It is exciting. I did find it tense, and I was thoroughly interested from start to finish. So that's kind of all I wanted, and I was happy enough with that. Thank you very much, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry this one took a bit of a long time to get to you, but I got there in the end. I'm sorry. Do subscribe, and there's lots more to come, so stay tuned.